most of my time with experiments, research and development projects with my team, try to connect different type of complex robotic systems and different type of smart devices under Ethereum and Polkadot ecosystem networks control. And the main idea, what was behind of all of these experiments, is make your apartments clearer. It's more about how to make your life more comfortable. So, so everyone. Okay, next slide, please. So, yeah, this is. No, 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 no. Previous slide, please. Okay, okay. It's no. Here is what exactly is smart home solutions right now. We have a upper side of this slide. It's the hardware devices, and on downside of this slide you will find communication protocols, software, and most common hardware to connect specific smart devices. Let's look deeper on this slide. From left side, from this, what we can found here. Uh, Most of the brands or vendors who provide smart home solutions for today have a very standard uh, smart devices. Mostly it's smart switches, smart sockets, smart lamps, data leak sensors, motion sensors, temperature and humidity sensors, and remote controller. To be honest, 5, 10 types of smart devices, it's all what we have on the way to create smart home. And basically, in reality, it's enough to make a lot of examples of how your apartments can be clearer. In the center side of this slide, you can find different brands like Xiaomi, like Sanof, and maybe some local regions vendors you will find too, but I don't know what exactly is very famous, because in reality different countries have a very specific producers of smart devices. It's not like Apple or iPhone or Android phones. Smart devices right now have a lot of vendors who made the same smart devices, but it's mostly specific for local market. And about software communication protocols. Let's look on what is important to know about software side of smart home solutions. The first protocol is LoRa. LoRa, it means long range. This communication protocol provides solutions to collect data from small energy, low energy consumption sensors with a range around 2 or 4 kilometers from some small server. It means you can put one server here and all devices around 2 or 4 kilometers around will be connected over LoRa. For example, if you will try to use Wi-Fi, you know how long range you have, around 10, maybe 20 meters around you. And sometimes, of course, you with MikroTik or something 50, maybe more. Second protocol, it's a most famous right now protocol for smart home solution with name ZigBee. ZigBee, it's will be standard in the next 5 years for, I guess, 70% of all smart devices produced in the world. It's very easy to connect smart devices over ZigBee protocol. So if you will go to store and will find some smart devices with ZigBee protocol, you should know that it will be the easiest way to connect your mobile phone to these devices. The next protocols have a name MQTT. It's one of the industrial standards and very old protocol too. ZigBee, for example, 25 years old. MQTT protocol is the same, so it's very old protocols. Bluetooth, I guess everyone knows. Mostly it's communication protocol to interact with smart locks. You will never find, for example, for humidity and temperature sensors with Bluetooth connectivity. And the next logotypes, not so important, but I guess some of you know Raspberry Pi, Arduino. Someone know what is Arduino and ESP? Yeah, some people. So, okay, nice. And the last, it's cloud servers, service providers like Microsoft, like IBM. So all big companies right now have their own clouds to connect your home solutions to your application. Yeah. So now we know that modern market provides for you around 10 types of smart devices. You have around 4 or 5 communication protocols, and mostly the second step for you will be how I can use together it to make my to connect my apartments to application. Here is a principal scheme of how it works. For example, you have a low power devices with a battery mostly, and they will use or LoRa or ZigBee protocol, and another group of smart devices it's plugged into socket devices, so they have a direct access to energy. So the communication protocols in this case not should be energy efficient, like with a, for example, small temperature sensor, because small temperature sensor will work with one battery more than 1 or 2 years. If you will look on your vacuum cleaner, after each day you need to charge it. So our data and interaction happens from smart devices to your local IoT hub. Your local IoT hub, it's a gateway between clouds and your smart devices. And after you connect your smart devices to IoT hub, you can install from App Store, for example, application of your vendor. And after registration, you will have option to find information from your smart home in your mobile phone. So every time when you try to set up your smart home solution, you will find that inside your apartments you will have one or two types of local communication protocols. Secondly, you will have IoT hub and your mobile phone application connected to the cloud. And it works in 99% of our cases, what you will find right now around smart homes. Next, please. But here is some problems what you will find with this principal scheme. One of the first is one startup from California 2 years ago, without any notification of users, just disappear. And if you installed their smart devices, they just work with the smart switches for lights. After one night, if your lights was switched on, you cannot to switch off. If your lights was switched off, you cannot to switch on, because your cloud was disappear from the market. And this can happen, for example, with any type of vendor's cloud on 5, 7, or 10 years. On 10 years. The second one, I'd like, anyone know Ring project? You know, Ring project, very interesting example of side effects around smart devices. It's a clever camera with ring bell, with machine learning inside to predict who right now try to open door or try to going around your house. To understand it's your children's, it's your wife, your husband, and to make a notification for you. If, for example, if someone tried to check your house, you will have a notification someone tried. But basically the problem of Ring was that hundreds of people was inside this scheme as humans who try to make for machine learning labeling. So it's a very strange automation systems with the smart devices where humans make a labeling of who is your child and who is your wife. Next slide, please. So one of the questions what every time I found from different peoples is, can we make home automation without cloud? And the answer, yes, you can. And the name of the solution is open source solution with name Home Assistant. Very nice software platform with thousands of devices supported in the last 5 years. But the biggest problem in this case, your smart home application will just work inside your local network. If you would not like to switch on or switch off your air condition, for example, outside your apartment, you will have a problem in this case. Next slide, please. So the question about remote control, how we can provide connectivity of your mobile application without cloud when you outside your local Wi-Fi network. So next slide, please. So here is a place for Robonomics. We invented the scheme how you can connect any type of devices connected to Home Assistant with your application without cloud servers, just with connectivity to Kusama or Polkadot ecosystem. So basically, with Robonomics, we give you option to use Home Assistant application when you in a local network, because in this case your signal will work very fast. So if you push button to switch on air condition, the process will be around 0 seconds. And it's not like working with a blockchain, yeah? You need to wait some blocks before your signal will settle in blockchain. So when you inside local network, you can use the Home Assistant application. If you outside your local network, you can shift to Robonomics application in this case. Basically, we have a functionality for remote switch on, switch off functions. Secondly, you can get telemetry, so data from your sensors remotely. In the same time, Robonomics Parachain is a place where our data about your smart home encrypted with your private keys will store it in Kusama ecosystem. Not only in Robonomics Parachain, but it's more about cross-chain messaging. So it's one of the example what you can investigate where devices connected to one parachain, to Robonomics Parachain, will have an option to use 2 parachains without real interaction from your side. So it means Robonomics Parachain will ask Crust Parachain to keep data from your smart devices, and for that you don't need to have any Crust network tokens. You don't need to have a direct connection to Crust Parachain. It will be part of what in Polkadot ecosystem called heterogeneous parachain networks. It means different type of blockchains can provide for you different type of services. Like Crust, it's a storage. Robonomics, it's a place for connecting smart devices. If we need to connect, if we need stored data from smart devices, we will not make additional functions in Robonomics Parachain. We will try to find another project which provides some useful services for us, like a storaging or identity or something else, for example. For example, NFT platform to provide some gift cards based on actions from smart devices. So and subscription. One of the biggest adventures for us was how to innovate a solution where you will not have a gas fee market problems. Like it will be strange to provide solution for your smart home where in some days you can send your transaction with latency around 12 seconds, or in other cases you will wait 1 or 2 days. So as a gas fee market problem, it's a problem what the real problem for smart devices, like not like for decentralized finance, in my opinion. So IoT subscription, it's a solution inside Robonomics Parachain which make for you the one useful thing. When you have a subscription, you will have a guarantee to provide guarantee from Robonomics Parachain providers to settle your transaction in each block, for example, or each 10 blocks. And it cannot be done, for example, based on Ethereum platform, because gas fee market is a common rules for Ethereum. But because in Polkadot ecosystem we can create our own scheme of utilization of capacity of parachain. So we invent subscription model which guarantee you stable latency. Right now not 6, but I hope in the next couple of months we will see 6-second blocks. But anyway, but basically in IoT subscription, it's something what we can create only because Polkadot, it's a solution where heterogeneous parachains can create on substrate some maybe from blockchain solution strange, for example, because I don't know other evidence of using, for example, not gas fee markets to guarantee to provide your transaction. Anyway, this is a basic functionality of Robonomics parachain. We code it like Robonomics Web Services as a decentralized cloud. You can use Robonomics parachain to realize remote control of your smart home. And right now the biggest adventures for us is to make much easy onboarding processes. Like people here know how to create crypto wallets, but most of the users of the standard smart home solutions know. When we made investigation and asked, I guess in the last 2 years, 1,000 people, maybe 5, maybe 700 people, to try to create their private keys and after to work with Robonomics parachain. And the biggest problem was onboarding for people outside. So the question for to connect people's outside crypto will be our side of the crypto. So yeah, lights up. Tomorrow I will have a workshop around 11 o'clock, I guess, after Astor in the same place. And in the 60 minutes in time of workshop, I will show you how you can switch on lamp, which right now around 6,000 kilometers from here with online translation. And you will make it with a decentralized application by Robonomics. And I will show you more examples of controlling different devices under Robonomics parachain control. So yeah, thank you for attention. Any question you can ask me. Yeah.
I have one question. If we're talking about the controllers of your home, how secure is that? Like, how can you ensure that if I put something that from my phone I will open the door of my home, nobody else can do the same? Use this one.
No, it's okay. Yeah, thanks for the question. The basically question how to prevent problems with the cybersecurity, it's more question about client-server technology. Because, for example, hackers mostly don't interested to hack your own apartments. No, it's question, of course, if you're a billionaire or you have a very juicy secrets, maybe. But mainly, nobody want to hack your personal apartments. But the question here is if our apartments connected to some cloud, it means cloud have access to thousands, millions of apartments, and that is a problem. That is a single point of failure. Someone will be interesting to hack cloud to control millions of smart devices around the place. So it's a question about cost of attack. And secondly, in case of using Robonomics parachain, the main scheme of connecting your smart devices with a smartphone application is is a scheme where you don't have a real direct connection between your phone application and smart devices. In case of Robonomics parachain, our signals from your smartphone will going to Kusama parachain, and your local smart home server on Raspberry Pi will be connected directly to Kusama parachain. So nobody will nobody will have access to your local home server, because your home server never have a connection to anyone except Kusama parachain. Okay? Okay. More question?
Yeah, thank you. My name is Joshua.
Yeah.
I had two questions. The
Yes.
first one was asked about the security. The second one, you partially answered it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first one was about security. The second one, you've partially answered it. I wanted to ask, with the Robotics, is it open to any microcontroller? I mean, being it Arduino and or Raspberry Pi?
Yeah. Okay. Basically, because Robonomics, one of the biggest problem what I found with different IoT projects in blockchain ecosystem is they said, okay, you can connect your IoT devices or your smart device to our blockchain solution. And they said, you need to develop some source code. We think it's a not good idea to try to adopt blockchain for IoT in case when for each smart devices you need to code something. So that is the reason why we decided to use Home Assistant as an open source software, which have a support of thousands of different smart devices, and we made ergonomics integration models for Home Assistant. So basically you will set up your local server on Raspberry Pi, and after that you will install additional ergonomics parachain models for Home Assistant. So the simple answer to your question, you will need to have Raspberry Pi. It's not enough to have ESP or Arduino, but we have one interesting R&D project which we started 1 year ago. We tried to adopt a very teeny small application for Arduino to connect directly small devices to Robonomics parachain. But now it's a very hard development part of the solution. Maybe in the next year or from this year, end of this year, yeah, you will have an option to connect ESP or Arduino solution directly to Robonomics parachain. More questions?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
My name is Zabo Prosper from Rwanda, and with IoT on Web3, of course, cybersecurity is going to be an issue. And
Yeah.
I was the first question about security was answered, and I was asking about with cybersecurity, how are we going about this? Are we still on using the same tools like Linux, and IoT devices are mostly bridged because they have like weak security? So are there specific security solutions on Web3? And with cybersecurity enthusiasts, how do we move from Web2 to Web3?
Okay. To answer for your first question, to be honest, for example, as I said about ZigBee protocol have a not bad security, cybersecurity part. So if you connect ZigBee protocol devices, you will have encryption between your Raspberry Pi and your smart devices with ZigBee. If you, for example, will install Home Assistant in your home, you will find that most of the modern TV, air conditions, vacuum cleaners will be connected automatically to Home Assistant. Why? Because they have a very low level of security. For example, if you have vacuum cleaner inside your local Wi-Fi network, and someone will get access to your Wi-Fi local network, he will not have any issues to switch on your vacuum cleaner. So the biggest problem with the cybersecurity of smart devices inside your home, it's devices which used direct connection to Wi-Fi, to local Wi-Fi network. And here is only one advice: make a good password for your Wi-Fi. Some guys said you need to separate home automation from your for your family internet access Wi-Fi network. But in this case, you will have one big problem. Your mobile phone application most of the time will be connected to your family Wi-Fi network, and nobody want to switch Wi-Fi network to make a remote control, to make a control over air conditions. So with a part of the smart devices, really we have cybersecurity problems, and the only one solution is a strong password for your Wi-Fi network. About enthusiasts, how we can bring them. Here is one interesting point. As I said, we not interesting to ask you code something for smart devices. We think more important to show you how you can make your smart home automation with a ready-to-work solutions where you need to change some piece of the code or to make a configuration file. And in my opinion, because Internet of Things is very modern, something new, and not so many people have experience with the smart devices, it will be enough for people to start. So we can bring people to Web3 solutions for IT if we will ask them not to code anything but try to connect with the ready-to-work open source solutions. And Robonomics provide some educational courses. I don't know, robonomics.academy. We have 4 educational courses. 3 of 4 is free. And secondly, we have a wiki.robonomics.network where you can find around, I guess, 5-7 use cases to make your local workshops with easy instructions how to onboard your home and not only home solutions with Robonomics Pro Chain. Okay. One more question? Yeah.
I have a question about tokenizing access.
Tokenization of access.
Yeah.
Okay, basically, as I said, in Chain we have a IoT subscription. When someone want to have a IoT subscription, in this case, you need to burn some XRT tokens, native tokens of Chain. And after Chain will grant access for you to use our transaction without gas fee. So in Robonomics, the main process of tokenomics is everyone who want to use remote control without cloud services will pay 1 and less XRT, around $5. It's a normal price, mostly for IoT subscriptions outside Robonomics in other solutions, and our tokens will be burned in Robonomics Pro Chain to grant access to you for 1 month or for 1 year. Is that so? Thank you for your attention.
Woo! That's been an amazing session about Robonomics, and I'm sure there's some people in the audience still left with some questions, and you can see Sergei right after. So we have the next upcoming session is with Maimunat, and she'll give a short run-through about the Polkadot Ambassador Program and how you can learn more about it and possibly become one. Afterwards, we also have a panel, a presentation by James Preston on why decentralized prediction markets are the future. And meanwhile, there's also an Encounter panel going on at the workshop, an Encounter workshop going on, if anyone wants to join.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maimunat Ibrahim, currently a senior ambassador for Polkadot and also a senior community moderator for Polkadot and Kusama, and also a member of the general creators for the Anti-Scam Bounty Initiative that is run by Web3 Foundation. So the Polkadot Ambassador Program was initially run by Web3 Foundation, and it was launched in 2019 with the intention of supporting those who have the passion to teach and spread awareness about Polkadot. It's not coming up. Okay. So the Ambassador Program is divided into 4 working tracks. The first one is community well-being. In community well-being, we have the community moderators that are most active in the Discord server, and what they do is to help community members or newbies that have questions about Polkadot and its ecosystem. Like, they answer their questions on a daily basis in the Discord server. Then the next one is content creation. So what the content creators working group do is to create different content. It could be infographics, it could be videos, it could be articles on different topics related to Polkadot. And you're welcome to do that in your native language. Then the third working group tracks, they are the event working group tracks. Under this track, we have the offline events and the online events. It's not showing now. So if you're interested in organizing an event online, we have the event bounty that is being handled by Zoe and Mark. So what you do is you submit the budget of your event to them, and once they approve it, they release funding to you to organize the event. After that, you compile a report of the event and submit to them, and if they are okay with it, you get rewarded in dots. Then the final track is the on-chain, where you get to learn about government and how proposals are being written and submitted on Polka Assembly. The ambassador program is divided into different stages. Once you submit your application, you get accepted as a candidate ambassador. Then you start contributing to any working group track of your choice. After 3 months, you get promoted to the ambassador rank. Then you continue contributing until announcement is being made for promotion to the rank of senior ambassadors. You submit your work to your regional head ambassador, who will nominate you for promotion. Then the final rank is the head ambassador rank. And each region have their head ambassadors. Like for Africa, our head ambassador is Chris Maliz. Thank you.
Yeah, guys. Anyone's got questions for Maimun over here on Polkadot ambassadorship, or if anyone would be interested, even for their countries? Anyone? Zero? I see. Nice. Thank you. Welcome.
Hi, and thank you. I'm Benjamin from Star. Now, I would like to know a bit about the actual Polkadot community in like in Africa globally. I know Chris for a long time actually, and I'm very enthusiastic with what he does. I'd like to know in like which country in Africa are covered actually. Where do you need some more ambassadors, and how can like other community members help you to push and develop in the countries you don't have ambassadors actually?
Okay, actually, I don't think we have ambassadors from Kenya. Yeah, because most of the ambassadors are from Nigeria, then Uganda, followed by Rwanda. So we are trying to like spread out to other African countries. So we have the form. If you're interested, you submit it, you apply. Then once you receive the onboarding mail, you come to the Discord server and introduce yourself. Then your candidate role is being activated. And if you have questions, you are free to reach out to me or anybody in the Discord server to guide you. And we also have some resources like learning materials for newbies to learn about Polkadot. So I think the regions we need ambassadors mostly Kenya, South Africa, Congo, yeah. Yeah, Ghana. We don't have any ambassador in Ghana.
Yeah, I just wanted the last one. It's not a question actually, but just to give you guys like, especially because we're in Kenya and we don't have a Kenyan ambassador in Polkadot, but of course countries where there are no ambassador. Just want to show you. You've seen me present Astar in the morning. I actually started by just being an ambassador at Astar, and basically being ambassador is like an amazing journey where you get to learn. And you got people who got the knowledge and help you and can help you leverage your own community in your country. And you know, that's really an amazing journey that you will probably like, and you will be, you know, helped with ways to organize some events and things like that. So I can recommend as a former ambassador and now a team member to really apply to the ambassador program and get to know and grow your community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Maimun, as well. I hope you guys learned about Polkadot as well. Great. Are you guys having a good time? Nice, nice. How many have heard of decentralized prediction markets? Hands up. Only one? Two? Three? Four? Nice. Awesome. Seems a lot of us don't know about decentralized prediction markets. I'd love to welcome James here from Zeitgeist. I think he can preach the language more. James, welcome very much. Hands, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, brother. Give our MC a round of applause. He's doing a great job. I'm just going to move the speaker over here because everyone's moved over into the shade, so that you guys can hear better over there. What's up, everyone? Maimunat, thank you so much. It's great to finally meet you in person. After last week, we had a call on Zeitgeist, on Twitter Spaces. So, guys, what I want to run through now is just a couple of reasons why prediction markets have such a future, and also hopefully inspire some of you to think about exploring the Zeitgeist SDK, because there is so much that you can do with prediction markets and what we're building that I'm hoping that we can get a few ambassadors ourselves from this conference and this weekend. So basically when it comes to prediction markets, you can get remarkably accurate forecasting data, right? It's one thing to try and predict what will the unemployment rate be in Kenya in 10 years' time, but the moment you incentivize very knowledgeable people to put their money where their mouth is, you get very accurate forecasts. And prediction markets have been spoken about from the likes of Vitalik, the likes of Robin Hanson. Robin Hanson is in many ways the father of prediction markets. He's a professor at George Mason University. And he said that at their core, using the dynamics of market economics and human incentivization is how you can create accurate forecasts. So if I had to tell you all, hey, if you stick around till the end of the day, you stick around to the very last session, you'll get 500 USDT. How many of you would stay for that? Everyone. That's the thing about incentivization. It makes you stick around. It makes you do things which you normally wouldn't do, right? Now, if I said to you, who's going to win in the upcoming Champions League football game between Manchester City and Bayern Munich, if you didn't have any money on that bet, you might favor Manchester City and be like, yeah, Manchester City. But the moment money is involved, you're going to really think about how you bet. And that's what prediction markets are all about. The moment we are tapping into that incentivization of human nature, all of a sudden you start to get accurate data. So Robin Hanson, the father of prediction markets, said, oh, we're back to scrolling? Okay. If you want to, let me just check here if I can, if you hit the, okay, that's all right. That's okay. So if you read this quote from Robin Hanson, he said that prediction markets are even more powerful than machine learning. Machine learning is too easily corrupted, which is really interesting because obviously we're all talking about AI right now, and the ability for machine learning to get corrupt, and when those algorithms actually start to process incorrect data, you're going to get inaccurate forecasts. Prediction markets gives you a whole lot more accuracy. Next one, please. Vitalik Buterin said this, and this is actually, I pulled this off his Twitter account. He said, honestly, prediction markets may be one of the most underrated categories of Ethereum dApps right now. I know there's a Polkadot conference, but this is before Polkadot was even around. I think this might have been 2016. Omen and Augur version 2 are both running and have active markets with pretty decent liquidity. Go ahead and try them. Just to say, what is interesting, our founder Logan Sather, in an interview, he was actually asked, why did you choose the Polkadot ecosystem? Because he was a part of the Ethereum ecosystem, and it's not a competition. But he just found the limits of Ethereum with the gas fees and transaction speed became too much. And when he found what Polkadot offered, he was able to do exactly what he wants to do in terms of speed of transaction processing. So, in essence, the smart contracts that are needed for prediction markets are much easier to write on Polkadot and using substrates, pallets, than it is using Ethereum. Next one, please. So, how does a prediction market actually work? So this is actually a real live prediction market. You guys can check it out on your apps, on your phones right now. You can go to app.zeitgeist.pm. And this is a current prediction market which has been the leading prediction market for quite some time. Who will win the UEFA Champions League in 2022-2023? And there are currently 10 options. The likes of PSG are in there, Liverpool, Manchester United, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, Bayern Leverkusen, Arsenal, and then obviously other, because there's more than 10 teams in the Champions League, so the 10th option is other. The current outcome is forecasting that Manchester City will win the Champions League. And here's how it works. So the current price, how do we know that this is the forecast? basically by price. So all a prediction market is in essence, it's an exchange, right? You create a market and you create an exchange with assets on it. All of the 10 outcomes for this specific market are separate assets. You have Manchester City is an asset, Bayern Leverkusen is an asset, etc., etc. You would go in and you would buy the asset that you think are going to win the Champions League. So currently, the most expensive asset on that market is Manchester City. And that's at around about 0.23 ZTG. So it gives us a 23% forecast that they're going to win. Here's how it works. You go along, you buy Manchester City for 0.23 ZTG. Now, we're going to be introducing stablecoins very shortly. Obviously, USDT is available now on Polkadot. USDC is coming. And we're introducing stables soon. Right now, the focus is getting sorted on the Hydra DX Omni pool. But coming soon is stables. So let's pretend that this is currently a stablecoin market. So let's say it's 23 cents. You buy Manchester City, 10 Manchester Cities for 23 cents. You now have 10 Manchester Cities. It costs you $2.30. If Manchester City win, your 10 Manchester Cities get converted into $10. So for $2.30, you walk away with $10. So that is a profit margin that is considerable. And that is how this incentivization mechanism works. And that's how a prediction market works. Your token is redeemed for one of the denominated token of the market, whether that's a stablecoin or currently ZTG, our utility token. So you get 3 primary prediction markets. The little thing there is covering the bottom markets, but you can see they're binary, scalar, and combinatorial. I'm running out of time, so I'm just going to skip through it. You can go to the scroll to the next one for me, please. Thank you so much. Okay, so how on earth do you make this fun, right? Like, a lot of people are like, prediction markets, man, that's cool. I'm so happy for you. Yay. Okay, sport is one way to make it fun, and it's actually really cool. I was talking to Chris Maliz. Chris, of course, from Nigeria, was like, dude, you need to get into Nigeria because people love to predict on sport. So, of course, sport makes it interesting. But the reason why the likes of Vitalik, Robin Hanson, our founders love prediction markets is it gives us even better data. Like, will there be a nuclear war in the next 5 years? Will there be a catastrophic climate fallout where more than 1 billion people will die within a 365-day period within the next 5 years? We can get this kind of data using prediction markets. But that's very boring for the average person. Right? So how do we make all this fun? So we, using blockchain tech, have integrated NFTs onto our platform. And this right here behind me is actually live from our app. This is the identity page of our app. Obviously, this is desktop. You can still see all this on mobile, but it's a little bit harder to integrate your Web3 wallet. So it's much easier currently to operate on desktop, but this is a current profile picture. Currently costs 200 ZTG. ZTG costs about 8 cents at the moment, so it's almost $20. I'm trying to do the math. It's about $17, $18, $17 to mint this NFT. This NFT is now available, would be available on the Singular Remark marketplace. Of course, most of you should know Remark. If you don't know, it's the NFT standard, the primary, one of the leading NFT standards in the Polkadot ecosystem. And you would then mint this NFT, you'd get a blue profile image. Then that eye that you see there that he's got, that weird light on his head, that is actually a reward. With the Remark standard, you can actually equip other NFTs with new NFTs. So what we've done is we've said if you trade 500 ZTG on the platform, you're going to get a reward. That'll appear in your identity. You can click the little bell sign on the right. You have a notification. It'll say, do you want to accept these? You accept the NFTs, and you can equip your profile picture. And then, if you scroll to the next one for me, you can then equip it with your next reward, in this case, a mouth. And the next one. And then the next reward, in this case, a necklace. And you can chop and change your entire NFT profile, and that is actually a real profile image that you will see on the app. If this specific profile had to create a market, you would see that profile image was the one that created the market. If we can go to the next one, please. You can have a look on the top right. This is the home page now. You can see that little profile picture with the equipped NFTs top right. So that's just one way that we have begun to integrate some fun technology to make it engaging for the average person who may not be interested in whether SPF is going to plead guilty, etc. Now, forget about OpenGov. Everyone loves OpenGov right now. Forget about OpenGov. Have you thought about Futarchy? What the hell is Futarchy? Futarchy is governance based on prediction markets. And obviously this is just a little joke because Polkadot right now, we're all talking about OpenGov. OpenGov is coming to Polkadot. It's currently on Kusama. So it's all very exciting. So it's a bit of a joke. Futarchy is now governance on prediction markets, again introduced in a doctoral thesis by Professor Robin Hanson, and again Vitalik bought into it, the prediction market world bought into it, and there is so much opportunity. How on earth do you govern via prediction markets? Let's have a look. So you're going to need to follow closely. Next two are just quotes. Robin Hanson said regarding recent events, he said, "It reminds me of a plausible theory that we must pay horrific prices to have periodic big disasters to get us to take seriously the possibility of less frequent bigger disasters. Maybe with Futarchy this wouldn't be needed, but it seems that's just the way it is with our actual institutions." Then Vitalik Buterin said this. This was back in 2016. "Think of coin Futarchy as a kind of voting through action. I am willing to increase my degree of membership in this community if X happens." Now, what the heck is all this Futarchy stuff? Let's go through an example. All right. So this would be the stages of Futarchy. And it has been done. People have implemented it on the likes of Augur, Metaculus. There have been real examples of Futarchy, but this is an extreme but simplistic idea so that you can grasp the concept. So step one would be you would make a prediction market about a specific possibility for your corporation, in which case we're going to use Apple as an example. Apple say, should we reintroduce the 3.5 mil headphone jack? Yes or no? So they create a prediction market. Would Apple's iPhone sell more if it had another 3.5 mil headphone jack? Yes or no? You create a prediction market. People go in there and they predict, they buy yes or no tokens. After a certain period of time, you would end the market. You don't resolve it, so you don't reward the people who have predicted yet, but you end it so you can't make more predictions. And then there's a number of mechanisms, but an easy way would be to A/B test that and do a beta test in, say, the US only, and release 2 versions of the phone, see which one sells the most, and let's say the prediction was that, yes, if you introduced a 3.5 mil headphone jack, you'd sell more iPhones. That's what the prediction was, and that indeed is what happened. That version sold more in the beta test. Then all the people that voted and predicted for yes would be rewarded, and they would then release on a wider scale the 3.5 mil iPhone. That is governance based on a prediction market. That's a very, very simplified version of Futarchy, which is what we are going to be rolling out likely next year because of the complexity. I mean, just trying to set up your automated market makers is an absolute formulaic nightmare when it comes to prediction markets. So trying to do this with Futarchy is a whole different ball game, but we want our protocol, certainly significant aspects of our protocol, to be running on Futarchy and by Futarchy, hopefully by next year. But the thing is, with our app, anyone can create a prediction market. You can go in, write your own prediction market, and you could run your organization using a prediction market. You could use our SDK and build your own prediction market app with our SDK. So there's so much to explore and so much to be done using Zeitgeist. I have 900 ZTG to give away, which is, as I said, what is that worth? It's about worth $80. So I'm going to give away 300 ZTG to 3 people who don't yet have a specific wallet. I'm going to explain now. I think that's my talk. You can go to the next one. Think I'm done. Yeah, that's it. So guys, that's it. Prediction markets produce extraordinary forecasting data. The incentivized herd almost always wins. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting Zeitgeist. Now let me give away some ZTG and take some questions. So what I want you to do is, honest to God, I cannot verify this. Please put your hand up if you do not have a Polkadot wallet yet. Is there anyone here who doesn't have a Polkadot wallet? There's over here, 2, 3, 4. Or I wanted to give away 300 ZTG. Okay, so the 4 of you, the 5, we got another one, 5. So you 5, the first 3 people to send me a ZTG address, right? You can do it on Sub Wallet. Easier to do it on desktop than mobile, but you can do it on Sub Wallet, you can do it on Polkadot.js, you can do it on Talisman, you can do it on Nova Wallet. Create a ZTG address. You can go to our app.zeitgeist.pm to actually just get straight to the chain, and then send me a ZTG address on Twitter. The first 3 people to DM me will get 300 ZTG sent to that address. Okay, very simple competition. Good luck, and I welcome you and I invite you to the Polkadot ecosystem. Okay, do I have time for questions or are we done? Okay, awesome. Does anyone want to ask a question? Come on up, guys. You can come on stage. I know that they were doing that earlier. Cool.
Okay. My name is Victor, and from Nigeria. I want to know what are the markets that are being predicted on Zeitgeist. I know on some other platforms we have legacy markets, crypto markets, we have a sports market, and other things. Is it possible for Zeitgeist to incorporate other markets into their platform?
Absolutely, bro. So I'll just pull up the app right now, app.zeitgeist. So currently, will ZTG be available for trading on a DEX by the end of May? The answer is yes at the moment. This is a sporting one, esports. Who will win LCS? I have no idea who LCS are. Will real Donald Trump tweet before the end of April 2023? That's a politics market. And the answer is no. Then you can see we've got sports, politics, technology, crypto, science, esports, etc. We've got Singular Remark, Omnipool, SpaceX. Will SpaceX Starship reach outer space before the end of Q1? Q1 ends today. The prediction is no. Will Elon Musk include the word Doge in any of his tweets before March 1st? And that would have happened already, but the market actually ends March 29th. I need to follow up with whoever created that market. But you can see literally anything. Anything can be created. We do have a committee and a council that approves certain markets. If you have a ZTG, you can just create your own market and deploy your own liquidity, but it's expensive and you don't want to get it wrong. Because we've now introduced a mechanism where you could actually predetermine the odds, right? So like if you had to choose, like this weekend, or let's take, I'm trying to think of a big sporting event. Let's say Nigeria were taking on Brazil, right, in football, soccer. Well, no, it's too simple. That's too half and half. Let's say Brazil and Nigeria were taking on each other. The obvious favorite is Brazil. And let's say it was in Brazil, obvious favorite. But if you start the market at 50-50, that's unfair on the early adopters. They come in, they buy the token for 50-50. That's easy that they're just going to buy Brazil. That's great, and then it levels things out and it shows you the forecast. But we are now setting up a mechanism where you can set the odds first. So that can be a bit tricky. So you just go into our Discord, chat to the council, and they will help you through that. But anyone can create a market. All right. Yeah, pleasure, man.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nigel. So, first of all, the first question I wanted to ask, you've basically answered it. I just wanted to say, the concept of Zeitgeist, like the initial concept I had when you were
Kusama related, as long as it's common good, and it can be reused by other community members. Web3 Foundation is generally glad to support this kind of projects through grants. So I have listed here. Later I will share the presentation with you all. It has some interesting links for more details. So you can see all different examples of things that we fund. But basically it's, in a nutshell, good for the ecosystem. Web3 Foundation is here to help. Next. So if you go to of course everyone is encouraged to apply any project that they're working on and excited about, but there are also things that were already identified as needed and desirable for the community, and you will find those listed in the website under RFPs, requests for proposals. So some of those include protocol level things, or data analytics platform like parsing the data in chain and pre-processing it so it's usable for websites and presentations and so forth, and security marketplaces or other kinds of marketplaces, smart contracts for Move protocol, etc. So don't hesitate to browse in the website. You can also browse the past applications to see the kind of things that were funded previously and like format your application in the same way. The process is very streamlined and transparent. Everything is in GitHub. There's a GitHub repository where you can copy a template and basically fill the details of your projects and then submit a pull request to that GitHub repository. Once the PR is there, the committee members, so I am one of them, would read it and maybe engage with you, send you comments, maybe some modifications, and discuss it until you have enough approvals, in which case your PR gets merged, which means the grant is officially approved and you can go do your work and get paid once you deliver the different features that you wanted to work on. So the grants are 3 different levels. The first level is under 10K US dollars. I encourage new grantees to start with this level because it's easier to get approved. And once the team proves the quality of their deliverables and delivers the grant and gets paid, now they can apply to the next level. It becomes easier. It's also possible to apply directly to a certain level, but it's harder. So it's up to you depending on your needs. And you can also decompose your grant into different milestones, because we don't pay upfront. We pay the grants after delivery. So if it's like a big chunk of work, you can decompose it in smaller chunks as milestones. And once you deliver the first milestone, you can get paid for it. So it gives you more runway to work on the second milestone and finish your project. Yeah, again, all the details are in this link. And you can browse or contact me for more questions and details. Next slide, please. Okay, so the reason actually I'm here is this. When I looked at the stats of the grants program, there were more than 1,000 applications. Already plus 500 projects were funded. 50 different countries. But look at this big white area. Where's Africa? So as an African, I personally come from Morocco. I thought this is not fair. So I really wanted to come here, meet the community, encourage devs to apply from Africa. It's not normal that all the projects are coming from these other places. We want more African devs. Please, let's go Africa. Next slide, please. Some examples. This is an example from Senegal. Someone applied, for example, to create the Identicon module for AngularJS. You can see the link, for example, to see exactly how they submitted their application, their deliveries, and how they formatted the different deliveries. Next one, please. This one is actually from Kenya. Someone just got approved to create a crowd loan front end so that any new parachain can use this template and create their website to do a crowd loan. So you see there's a variety of things that can be submitted to the foundation. anything that will promote adoption, that will add useful libraries to the substrate framework, Polkadot, Kusama, even parachains, anything in the ecosystem, welcome to apply. Another example from Nigeria, this one I just opened it before I flew here. It's still not approved, but it's always good to look at different, if you guys want to apply, look at different examples. This is a team from Nigeria who want to build a blood donation blockchain so that people who donate can have like a record of the donation and help the blood transmission system in Nigeria, which is, I believe, a big problem over there. Grantee testimony. This is real. I sent some emails to African grantees. Got this nice response from this grantee who says they appreciated the program. It's transparent. It's all on GitHub. Fully remote. You don't have to be in Switzerland where the foundation is. Everything can happen remote. You can receive money in USDC or DOT, or we accept different payment currencies. And one interesting thing to note here is that after delivering their grant, this grantee had access to the Substrate Builders program. So this is another interesting thing to know about the program, is that not only it can fund you and help you get started with your project and fund some of your development, but also connect you as you deliver and you improve the quality of your deliveries with the Substrate team and other VC even to help you with your project, etc. It's a good bridge to other parts of the ecosystem. I'm trying to keep this as short as possible so that we keep as much time at the end for questions. So I want to also talk about this alternative way of funding projects, which, so as I said, the Web3 Foundation's grant program is limited to code. So we really fund technical development, and it has like this, it has to be open source, and we only focus on the technical part, no token launch or marketing or all these other aspects. But if your project also involves these kind of things, the treasury is much more open-ended, and in there you can go on Polk assembly, create a proposal. Again, it's open to everyone. You create a proposal and describe it, promote it over social media so that people hear about it, and then once the voting starts, if you manage to get a yes, then you can get the money directly from the treasury. Next slide. So one good example of the funding from the Kusama treasury is the actual Dot Safari event, which was submitted to the treasury, and it had a 97% aye, so very good consensus for organization. So that's how we're here today, and thanks Kusama, thanks Safari DAO for organizing this. Thanks everyone for joining. Thanks community, and happy to answer all your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful. Any questions for Nabil over here? Awesome. Anyone who's got questions, please come up stage. If anyone has questions.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. I'm asking, can people get like those funds if they just want to contribute into the Polkadot open source? They want to just add features or fix bugs. Can they apply for grants and get it?
Yes. So yes and no, actually, a short answer. Thank you for your very good question. So what's your name? Nicholas. Thanks, Nicholas. Very good. So bugs, I don't think so. Bugs will probably maybe go to you can submit to the treasury. But new features or improvement or code quality, these things can go to the foundation. And it's not limited to the Polkadot code base. Any Rust library that is used in the ecosystem, crypto libraries generally in Rust that are leveraged in the ecosystem, all those parts of the code base, yes. Yeah, if no more questions now, we can check them offline. As I said, my job at the foundation is to answer questions about the grants. Meet with there's office hours, so you can book slots online and meet with the team and discuss your project and how to approach it. So please don't hesitate to reach out, and we'd be happy to work with you guys. And yeah, thank you. Thanks again. Thanks.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, just in case you guys don't know, Nabil has a speed dating booth at 5 p.m. Is it? 5 p.m. So make sure you guys see him. Yeah. Wonderful. I'd now like to welcome Benjamin. He's gonna talk about how legalities can help Web3 acceleration. So welcome very much, Benjamin.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Hi again, I mean. Yeah, it's my second talk, but I changed my cap. Unfortunately, I have only one cap on my head today. But right now, actually, I'm gonna talk to you about a project I'm contributing to, which is Logion Network, which is basically a legal tech project to bring all the necessary legal part of the real world, some things that you may do every day, into the blockchain, and how blockchain can leverage and secure all this legal process. Yeah, it works. So yeah, Logion, just for the small history, is a Greek word that means oracle. Oracle. Why? Not because it's not like an oracle on chain, but it's this power of authority that legal officers only have, in the legal world, in the real world, and that you can't get rid of. I mean, you can't get rid of a notary, for example, to buy a house, right? So yeah, Logion wants actually to bring this blockchain technology, into a new era where you can have all this legal process certified and available on chain. Yeah. Right. So first, I think you guys all heard about it. The world is getting tokenized. There are many projects around who are tokenizing many things from the real world today. It can be fungible token, it can be non-fungible tokens, depends on what you do. But as I said, the most, example that can talk to you the most is the real estate market. There are some very interesting projects that divide buying a house or buying a building, and dividing that into tokens and sharing actually this. So people buy the tokens and hold a part of this building. And then this building is, for example, set to rent. And so each token holder will be rewarded the daily rent depending on the size of the tokens. This is tokenization of real estate. But you have a lot more application in tokenization, and basically you can almost tokenize everything. Oh, thank you. Oh, it's you with Sergei. I thought it was me. All right. Sorry. So yeah, when we are talking about tokenization, I think we are talking about really the next financial revolution around, not just around blockchain, but around every asset that can be exchanged in the world. Here are a few examples. So the real estate, I just talked about it. Expected invested values in 2023 is $200 billion just for real estate. And even, but the total, oh yeah, sorry, I have to compare to the total market size, because this total market size, yeah, more than 300,000 billion euros, sorry. Oh yeah, we're talking euros here. The private market contract, it's actually 6,000 billion euros, and we expect even more, like 3 times more investment than real estate. So yeah, we're talking about any kind of contracting, and this is a very large business. Arts and luxury goods. This is worldwide a total of 400 billion euros, right? And still like a lot of money to be invested in. Creators of, yeah, the creators economy, so anything innovating, like blockchain is one of these, right? Also more than 100 billion. That's already a huge, market opportunity to be unlocked to people. Why unlocked? Because right now, it belongs to people who are specialists, people who know how to assemble these parts, and so that you as an individual will have to pay for these services, right? Yeah, things. So actual tokenization project, they are currently flawed, and even at best, some of them are even worse. Yeah, because they fail to bind, this part of the rights, the law, and the digital asset, right? You can say you own an NFT, but what does prove that you own what is the underlying asset of behind this NFT? Okay, if that's a picture stored like a flying monkey, then sure, you have a link in the NFT. But what if it's something more complicated, like insurance policy, like a house, like an art painting? That's a good example too. Well, there is nothing actually that gives you, the real proof that you own it. Even if for example, a paint, if the artist actually gave you an NFT, there is nothing that proves that this was really, that this is really the NFT that is attached to this paint. So if you don't have you don't have a regulator approval. So without regulator approval, I guess you all know, there is no mass adoption, right? We can't live outside of the state laws that we live in, right? Because that's what makes our society to work, basically. So yeah, because of this, actually, new digital economy like blockchain still raises fear into people's mind, because it seems unsecure, right? And it seems just some technology that they don't necessarily understand and that don't give them the real connection between what they are owning and what are the legal rights attached to it. Thanks. So with Logan, we introduced actually the proof of law. And this is, legal and economic zero knowledge certification for this digital economy that we've just seen before. What does it mean? Actually, Logan is a network of legal officers. So it is owned by an organization of legal officers organized as a DAO. At least that's the aim, to have all of this governance of this legal officer across the world, on chain. Right now, we already have around 15 legal officers who are already actually working on the Logan blockchain. And Logan is a substrate-based blockchain, a production blockchain, but Logan aims for a parachain slot on Polkadot actually this year. So you should see coming a crowd loan pretty soon, right? Yeah, why zero knowledge? It means you can have these informations stored and available only to the people you want to. It means it's not because your identity is stored on chain that anyone should access it, right? Because you see a token transfer on Ethereum, on Polkadot, of course everyone sees how it is. So there is this need of privacy, definitely, and you need trust attached to this, right? So this trust, is the legal trust has to be carried by a legal officer, which is certified by the state it represents the legal authority, of the country he's working in, right? So all of this, a real world identity, a real world asset, or just real world information, with login proof of law, you can make this a decentralized credential. And I'm not speaking about DID here, which is different too, but which acts, with this decentralized credential. With this proof of law, you also have a legal grade, digital asset, which are certified by legal officials. And you have, certified, digital information, any kind of information, basically, that is valuable and that you want to legally protect under the law, can be actually certified by one of these officers and stored on chain. Right? So this proof of law will enable a new form of legal binding, legally binding tokens for this real world assets. So all the assets, we have talked about it earlier, can be actually certified into Logion. So just imagine money in a bank, currencies, because that's a good example. You have, a bank account, and all the economy right now works with bank account. Someone, with an authority can issue this as a stable coin. But what is the proof you have that USDT, for example, that Tether company owns all the underlying assets? It's kind of even known that Tether doesn't own all the assets behind. It's covered in a pretty large percentage, but if tomorrow everyone wants to withdraw their USDT, there will not be enough money for everyone, right? With Logion, you can make this certified by legal officials. So the legal officer has the legal right to go to the bank, to authenticate the bank statements, right? And to give this proof on chain, actually. Just last one, because I won't talk about each kind of assets, but that was a good example with fiat currency that you can, transform as stable coin with a legal grade certification. Is that the projects who are working on this tokenization, they can create this digital asset which are legally bounded to any kind of they create this on-chain asset which is legally binded to this real-world asset, right? So anyone can come anytime and verify, that this has been certified by a legal officer, certified by the state he lives in, right? Yeah. This one is a bit high. So basically, on the right, what you have are the actual limitations for people and for projects to make these projects come true. There is this uncertainty, of the owner. What do they own? What is it tied to? And so Logion solves it by legally binding, the assets with what is behind, what is the underlying asset of your digital asset. Something that can be valueless means if you own an NFT, but tomorrow the picture is stored, it's stored on a private server. It happens with a lot of NFT collections. So from one day to another, you will just have this empty NFT like ERC 721 or any standard you like, and you will not even own the picture anymore, right? So Logion can certify this and actually stores this kind of asset, right? And you can switch basically from a trust-based relationship where you trust an intermediary which is offering the service because he has knowledge that you should do this and this action for that your ownership being legal, this becomes trust minimized because the Login network is actually acting as a DAO. It's not a group of friends, you know, who are just doing whatever they want. They have I don't know how you call it, but they have state certification, and they act from different countries, and they decide who they onboard inside this DAO, you know, as another legal officer, right? So anything they say basically engages all their responsibility into it. They lose everything if ever they would, you know, issue a false information in the certification. But there is also the compliance, because you've seen many countries today making many more laws about blockchain, about cryptocurrencies, because a state thinks it should be controlled, you know. This can't be something left in the wild. And so in the future, and especially in the coming years, many projects will become, you know, non-compliant with local laws, right? With Login, you can rely on these officers who make it, you know, compliant in terms of legal proof, you know, that you would need in any kind of public, you know, like public institution, like a court or a public service, to prove the authenticity of your ownership. Yeah, so Login brings this framework that allows protecting permissionless bound between the people, the assets that they own, the markets, and the law, you know. And it's only putting this together that you can really act with real-world assets in security, right? Yeah. How does it go? I will use an example because there is maybe a lot of text here to show you how the process of Login works. So actually, let's imagine a piece of art. That's what we had recently with an artist who auctioned her paint, you know, in a real auction room. I don't remember how it's called. So people come to bid, like just in like traditional world, nothing to do with blockchain on the beginning. So when the artist actually once he has created the paint, he will also, you know, mint this NFT. To this NFT, he will start a Login case, what we call a legal officer case, which will start the process of binding, you know, this paint that will be sold in auctions to an NFT on chain, right? So the legal officers actually come on site and certifies that the painting exists, that it has been made by the artist, and basically ties all the ownership of this painting, you know, into a contract, you know, and this contract is stored on chain and attached in the NFT, right? So the primary market is the auctioneers will win, you know, this painting in auctions, and right after this, so they will have this NFT, and as the NFT owner, they can come on the Login blockchain and actually get all the legal documents attached to this ownership. And only them can, because they are the owner of this NFT, right? So people can come with proof, which means on the secondary market then, when someone else wants to buy, he needs the trust that this paint, you know, he will have the right to own it, you know, he will have the right to sell it or to exploit it for his art gallery, for example. So that's how it comes, when the on the secondary market, the seller will actually send the ownership document to the buyer, and the buyer can come anytime, actually, on the Logion blockchain to check that this document is authentic and tied to a legal certificate. So imagine how powerful this can be if you don't have to go through this legal process every time you want to resell this painting. Every time it has to change ownership because the owner needs money for another project or anything. Instead of going again, through all the legal process, actually just transferring the NFT during the sale will just guarantee on a legal grade that he owns this painting, right? And so that he will be able also to resell or to exploit, whatever the rights are attached to it, right? So this brings, into the world of, let's say, common user, just like you and me. I'm not, specialized in how to buy luxury items, and this gives access to all of us, to this process, and with the legal, certification attached to it, we can feel safe of our ownership, right? I guess that's it. I already told you this, actually. I'll go just about the details. So, yeah, the blockchain is owned and managed by judicial officials. And there is also a network of verified issuers, which means all these legal officers, these judicial officers, can also onboard this verified issuer, who can be notaries, even accountants, to issue some certificates on Logion. How does it work to make all of this happen? There is actually, behind the scene, this is a private IPFS system running, which is available, which is shared, by all these legal officers who run the chain. Because these legal officers also run all the blockchain nodes, and only them are able to validate. So this is very specialized chain. It is very different than a chain, a proof of stake chain like Polkadot, where you will see that anyone can join and be a validator. Anyone can nominate anyone on here. No, Logion is focused on the legal grade certification, and as per so, only this organization is allowed to let someone else in or to certify a verified issuer to issue some legal documents on Logion. Yeah? And so this last one that I told you about, it's really a zero knowledge proof of ownership, that if someone gives you, one of these certificate of ownership, you can check anytime that the legal certificate exists on Logion. I don't know, like just a title of ownership of the asset you are working with. So so the free step of recording for, so to benefit the proof of law is first, the record and the asset. So the asset minter will verify all what is tied to the real world asset and verify its authenticity. So this can be actually these different people that you see here. Oh, it's not only people. So it can be a notary for proof of ownership, but it can be who is the asset minter on the chain, the smart contract. So it will be on the marketplace. For some assets, you will have financial audit. So you will have this document issued by an auditor. But even like a rent audit, for some companies, for example, that will be certified by an accountant. So the legal officer will then bind all of these documents into a single case in Logion, what we call a legal officer case, a lock. And so all these documents will be stored on chain, certified by the legal officer. And that's at this point that he means the digital assets that are tied to this real world asset, right? I think I go on this one just to inform you guys that you can already access Logion. Actually, Logion is a working system. We have already many existing use cases, like this paint I told you about. We have certified other, like animes that have been stored, same as a legal officer case, and the money was raised, for restoration of this anime, of the physical animes. And so, yeah, Logion is now working as a standalone relay chain based on Substrate, so the framework of Polkadot. And Logion will apply pretty soon, actually, in the next 2 months, to a Polkadot parachain slot. So I hope you guys get interested into the project. I hope you may have, some documents even to certify by yourself and want to experience how much does it get, because we need actually many to onboard in the future, many legal officers around the world, and so especially in Africa, so that you can secure all your assets locally, right? And I think that's good, because the other are more to present, to someone who receives the slide. So this is way too much text to present to you right now. Yeah, I guess I'm done. Just next to you have just a view of the team. Yeah, and so that's the Logion team, actually. A lot of people have experience inside the blockchain system, but especially in the legal system, we have officers who are part of the team. So it's really a multidisciplinary team who are not just blockchain nerds, but also some legal specialists who are building this, in a trustless manner, so that you can use it in a trustless manner. Sorry. I hope this was not too much to introduce to you guys, and I will be happy to explain to you more in details if you get interested and come to me for questions. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Before you leave, Benjamin, anybody who's got questions out there, thank you. Please come to the stage. Just another reminder for our guests here. Please be careful with the animals. They are our guests, so please let's treat them that way. Please, 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 again. Yeah, as they come, I can start with a question, Benjamin. Wonderful presentation. With the judicial officers, right? What's the requirement for them to actually be a judicial officer so they can actually validate a node? For example, I know for a fact in Tanzania and Kenya, we don't have too many judicial officers that are too familiar with blockchain, for example, validation of nodes. So how would that work, for example? That's my first question. Two, I see a lot of tokenization of real-world assets over here. In Tanzania, we also have a project we're looking to tokenize plastic waste as a real-world assets. Also, how would that work? So that's those questions.
Okay, thank you. That's very interesting questions, actually. So how could, for example, Kenyan legal officers on board? Well, first of all, you need to be, certified by the state, and have the diploma. Having made, I don't know how much it is, but it's probably something like 10 years of study, and then have all this, legal diploma, and that allows you to act in the name of the state. But when they are, actually, we are not looking for tech specialists, and many of the officers are not tech specialists. It's made so that they can onboard actually pretty easily. So all the experience for the officer is behind the UI, where he will be able to manage all of his cases, and anyway, in whatever they will do, they will need to, for many cases, go on site, and see what is the asset, what does it represent, and he will tie everything of this into the chain, but he will almost not realize he's acting with the chain actually, and that's the beauty of it. He just needs a wallet, of course. Like you can't not have a wallet, but then he will all of the documents that he's used to redact, that's his job. He will just enter all of this, in his interface that will become, this case, and he will issue this case, right? So the actual onboarding for officers doesn't require a lot of technical knowledge. If there is one technical knowledge that is required, is to maintain the node, but most of the incentivize of the chain is made so that all the legal officers can have a technical team to maintain this node actually. So really the officer don't need to have the hands into the techniques behind, all right? Yeah, sorry, can you remind me the second question? Yeah, so the thing you have to ask yourself actually is, you're working with plastic waste, and it's, do I need a legal certification of it? I'm not here neither to sell you, like, tokenize everything. There are things that don't need to be tokenized, right? So if this plastic waste are being then converted into assets, you will want to have this certification that there was, I don't know, 100 tons of plastic here at this site, so that's basically how it works. You will connect, you as a user, to log in. You will select your legal officer because the users has the free choice of who will be the legal officer. You will pick your legal officer in Kenya. It can be, there can be several ones, in Kenya. And then you'll be in touch with this officer who will basically ask you the information he needs to certify, right? And once he has everything, he will store everything on chain. Right? Thank you.
Just a quick one, Ben. I just wanted to ask about your blockchain mechanics. So you're currently just a relay chain. You're not secured by Kusama or Polkadot, only a relay chain. And if so, how many parachains do you have? Because you mentioned the diagram showed a couple of other chains around your relay chain. Do you have other chains? And if so, if you're just a relay chain, why do you need to be a parachain of Polkadot?
Thank you. So actually, it's not, Login is not a relay chain, it's a standalone chain, which means it just acts independently. I'm not sure of the scheme you're referring about, but we don't have any parachain connected to Login. And so we want to connect as a parachain because actually Login is growing and more officers are onboarding, and we want this, the security that Polkadot will bring, so that actually officers who will maintain the nodes don't have to care about this security, right? So they just have to focus on the few security they have, which means the keys, basically the keys that are used for them to access the IPFS, to produce the blocks, and that's it, right? Thank you.
Okay, my name is Chris. Thank you so much, Benjamin, for that presentation. During the course of your presentation, I was kind of fascinated. So I want to find out from you, since you are building a legal project, and in the Web3 space, we've seen a lot of crampdown, SEC crampdown on different protocols, especially DeFi protocols. And so I want to find out from you, do you have a kind of a guideline? And I did as a few months ago, the Web3 team and the team at Parity, they told us that DOT has moved from security to a software. And so since you are building a legal project, I want to know, how do you intend to help projects who are currently facing legal actions? And do you have a kind of guideline to help these questions, this project? Second question is, you made mention of tokenization of assets, not just digital asset, but physical asset like real estate. And I want to find out, since we have a major challenge in terms of NFT, right? So NFT have a problem of liquidity. Like you can have an NFT when you want to exchange your NFT to probably to USDT or ETH or fiat. You find out that you might not be able to do that. So I want to find out how would you solve the problem of liquidity using your project? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for your question. That's actually very important, to understand the Logion project. You ask about legal concerns about things like being classified as a security or not for Polkadot, for example. These are not the kind of thing that Logion covers. Logion doesn't cover, Logion covers the certification of assets, actually. So it means this is not tied to like legal consultancy or things like that. These are really service of certification. So yeah, everything related to this kind of very specialized, legal morphing, for example, of a token is outside the scope of Logion, basically. And secondly, you ask for the liquidity. Well, Logion is not an AMM. It's a very specialized chain, actually. So we're working with DeFi projects too to certify that the assets that they have actually are real, so that the user who will come on these DeFi projects and use this, they can be safe about the reality about the assets behind, just like if FTX was certified by Logion, he wouldn't be bankrupt, That's this kind of things Logion does. But Logion doesn't manage, for example, the liquidity. It will only certify that this liquidity is there and exists if the project has been certified by Logion, right? Does that answer your question? Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, I have a question in terms of block equities when it comes to like law firms and when it comes to special commodities that need maybe communal ownership, maybe let's say shareables, maybe NFT shareables where every partaker has a piece ownership of the NFT. Now my question is like, does your system have ability to manage even shareable physical items?
Yeah, thanks for your question. That's very good too. So actually, yes, you can inside Logion certify that this asset is owned by, 10 different people. That's exactly where actually you will want a legal certification if that is a high value asset. Let's imagine, well, I took the example of the house, but I think that's of a building. I think that's a good example because a building is very high value. And so people who own this part of building, who co-own this part of building, they want this, legal security. So literally, yes, you can come to Logion, ask for a case, provide, of course, all the proof that you have about this asset, and you can certify this multi-ownership on-chain on Logion. Does that answer your question? Yeah, thank you.
So today in our African countries, we have most of the governments are moving their services to technology. So we found ourselves in a situation whereby we participate in trying to solve their problems using blockchain technology. But at the same time, we find like backlash because most of the governments are seeing this technology as a threat to us or to them, let's say to them. So I want us to see if we can find out the idea how we can like explain to them, one, number two, they are seeing as a political tool. Like in the case of United States, we have two political sides, and one side is like pro big government, and the other side is like they want a smaller government. So the ones who are pro smaller government, the libertarians mostly, they are pro crypto because crypto somehow is about individualism and something like that. So when it is brought into view, many people feel like a threat to the other side of the ideological politics. That's my first question. Then number two is, I think we were trying to solve something like a monopoly in centralization when we shifted to decentralization, where big companies are like controlling our data and something like that. Even finance, they're the ones occupying the big share. So in blockchain, I don't know if it solves that issue or it's like jumping to another level of monopoly also, as far as in real time, when we have disputes in something, we have lawyers intervening as a third party to try and look out who is on the right side of whatever it's on dispute. So in blockchain, we are saying code is the law. Like code will, because everywhere we have people of goodwill and bad will. So even in blockchain technology, we have two sides, hackers and the ones who are goodwill, something like that. So you might find yourself being in a situation where someone is violating your rights through the code, and we are saying code is the law. So I don't know if code will have that ability to interpret keenly or will lie on the side of someone who can interpret that law more than the other person, like a senior person, of which it can bring inequalities also between those people who understand code and those ones who users who don't understand this technology.
Yeah. Wow, that's very large questions. Actually, this would deserve to talk about it a whole day. But I want just to emphasize your sentence who says code is the law. Code is the law actually only applies to assets who are digital only. So this can apply to, of course, a blockchain token. But how can you apply code is law to a real world asset? How can you apply this to your house? You know, how can you code everything that can say this is the law? I mean, human society is incredibly more complex than just a machine. And even though some machine can do impressive things, they will never be able to replace all this human part. And that's where Logion actually acts. Logion brings this human part that you need for the legal world, basically. You live in a world that is ruled by laws. If you didn't have laws, or if your laws were just code, it would probably be just anarchy. You know? And so yeah, at Logion, Logion doesn't pretend to build a tool where code is law. It pretends to use some cryptographic tools and technology to solve some problem of the real world, basically. But it can't replace everything. It can't be laws. Yeah. And as per your question about some political power seeing blockchain as a threat, I would say, but this is personal opinion, that this confusion is made because everyone thinks that blockchain is just crypto. And that's why we are here. We need to educate people on the fact that crypto, of course, is a basis of the blockchain, but blockchain is so much more than crypto. And that's actually what Logion is here to. It's very specialized. You know, Logion doesn't intend to compete with any of the projects that actually exist. You know, Logion intends to do this very specialized, you know, legal certification. And so we need, I think, to explain to this public and political powers that blockchain brings a technology that may solve a certain number of problems in the real life, but that blockchain is far way more than crypto, and that you can use blockchain basically almost without using crypto, right? But that's personal view. Well, I guess we're good. Thank you everyone for your question. That's highly interesting and that helps a lot to to scale and to see what are the concerns for the future of the project. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks so much, Benji. That was very, very insightful. Yeah, so that was our last presentation of the day for Safari Stage over here, but it's not the end of the day. Just another reminder, guys, with the animals, please, let's be very, very careful with them. We are their guests again. So, I don't know about you guys, but I'm very passionate about my community, and we are very, very heavy on onboarding local communities, right? So there's this thing called Kamusi DAO. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it, but it's a DAO that onboards locals to their communities using their local languages, right? So we have a booth over there. We are encouraging contributions in your local languages, right? So the goal is to explain the basics of Web3 and the Web3 lingo in simple terms, and provide a word for it in your local language, right? So we have a booth over there. You guys are more than welcome. Please, please, please drop your contributions over there, whether it's in Swahili or if you guys are from Nigeria or Rwanda. We are very, very welcoming you guys to the booth over there. Karibuni sana.